Welcome back to our channel, English with Ethan. In this video, we are going to tell you the inspiring life story of Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, a poor boy who became the missile man of India and later the president of the nation. His journey is full of dreams, struggles, hard work, and big achievements. If you want to improve your English and feel motivated at the same time, this story is perfect for you. Now let's begin part 1. His childhood and early life. A simple beginning doctor. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam was born on the 15th of October 1931 in Rameswaram, a small town in the southern state of Tamil Nadu, India. His full name was Avul Pakir Jainulabdin Abdul Kalam. His family was poor, but they were honest, kind, and hardworking. Kalam's father, Jainulabdin, was a boat owner. He was not very educated, but was wise and respected by everyone at the town. He believed in simplicity, faith, and helping others. His mother, Ashiyama, was a loving and caring woman. She always made sure that her children never slept hungry. Even though the family didn't have much money, they always helped others in need. Kalam had 4 brothers and 1 sister, and he was the youngest of all. As a child, Kalam was curious, quiet, and very smart. He loved to learn and had a great interest in books, science, and the stars. Even though he was born in a Muslim family, he had friends from different religions, and they all lived together in peace and respect. School days. From a young age, Kalam was hardworking and disciplined. He used to wake up early in the morning, help his family, and then go to school. To support his family, he started selling newspapers at a young age. He would get up at 4 a.m., go to the railway station to collect newspapers, and deliver them before school started. This showed how responsible and sincere he was, even as a small boy. Kalam studied in Schwartz Higher Secondary School in Ramanathapuram. He was a bright student, especially in mathematics and science. His teachers saw something special in him. One of his teachers told him, "If you want to shine like the sun, first burn like the sun." This line inspired Kalam for his entire life. A dream takes birth. While growing up, Kalam loved to read books and watch birds flying in the sky. He always wondered how airplanes fly. This deep interest in flight made him dream of becoming an aeronautical engineer one day. He believed that dreams are not what you see while sleeping, but dreams are what keep you awake. He wanted to do something big for India. Even though his family didn't have money, Kalam never gave up on his dreams. He studied hard, stayed focused, and kept moving forward. A boy with a big dream. In those days, becoming an engineer or a scientist was very difficult, especially for someone from a poor family. But Kalam was not afraid. He believed that with hard work and honesty, anything is possible. His strong values, simple life, and powerful dreams started shaping his future. Part 1 of his life teaches us that your background does not matter. What matters is your dream and your dedication. Part 2. From classroom to the sky, the dream takes flight. Now in Part 2, let's explore how that dream started becoming real. This is the story of his college life, early failures, and his first steps into India's scientific world. Let's begin. The college journey begins. After completing school, Kalam wanted to become an engineer. He had a deep interest in airplanes and flying machines. He applied to the Madras Institute of Technology, MIT, one of the most respected engineering colleges in India. But there was a big problem. The fees were very high, and his family could not afford them. Kalam was very sad. He thought his dream would die before it even began. But something beautiful happened. His sister Zora and his family members sold their jewelry and belongings to collect money for his admission. This moment touched Kalam deeply. He felt a huge responsibility to make his family proud. He joined MIT and took aeronautical engineering. From the very first day, he was serious, focused, and hardworking. He was not the most talented student in the class, but he was always the most determined. A lesson in discipline. One day, Kalam was given a very important project by his college professor. He had to complete a model of an aircraft within a tight deadline. He worked day and night, but he was falling behind. His professor became angry and gave him a strict warning. "You have only 3 days. If you do not finish it, your scholarship will be canceled." That night, Kalam did not sleep. He worked without stopping. He completed the project on time. The professor was surprised. He smiled and said, "I was testing your courage, and you passed." This moment stayed with Kalam forever. He realized that success always comes with hard work and sacrifice. First step into India's defense research. After graduating from MIT, Kalam had 2 job offers. One was with the Indian Air Force in Dehradun, and the other was at the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, in Delhi. He really wanted to become a pilot. So he went for the Air Force interview. But unfortunately, he was not selected. He stood 9th, and they needed only 8 candidates. Kalam was heartbroken. It was the biggest disappointment of his life. But he did not give up. He accepted the second offer and joined DRDO as a scientist. His job was to design helicopters for the Indian Army. It was a new beginning. Humble life in Delhi. When Kalam moved to Delhi, he lived a simple life. He stayed in a small room and spent most of his time reading, writing, and working. He wore simple clothes and never chased money or fame. Even though he didn't get his dream job as a pilot, he gave his best to his work. Slowly, he began working on missile and satellite projects. He believed that even a small job can become great if done with honesty. He started learning more and more about rocket science, aerodynamics, and defense technology. Meeting great people. During this time, Kalam also met many brilliant scientists and leaders who helped shape his path. One of them was Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, known as the father of India's space program. Dr. Sarabhai saw great potential in Kalam. He encouraged him and said, "You have fire in you. Use it to lift the nation." With this encouragement, Kalam was chosen to join ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. This was a turning point in his life. The beginning of a space dream. At ISRO, Kalam was part of India's first satellite launch vehicle project. The goal was to launch a satellite into space using Indian technology. Nobody had done it before in India. The team had very little money, old machines, and no experience. But they had one powerful thing: hope. Kalam worked 16 to 18 hours a day. He lived like a soldier, always thinking about the mission. He believed that India must stand tall in science. And slowly, he started building the future of Indian space research. Part 3. The Missile Man Rises. India's Journey to the Sky. In Part 1, we saw Abdul Kalam's childhood and early education. In Part 2, we explored his college life, the pain of failure, and how he entered India's scientific world. Now in Part 3, we'll see how this simple man from Ramaswaram became a hero in Indian science. This is the story of rockets, satellites, and the missile mission that made the world notice India. Let's begin this powerful chapter. The satellite launch vehicle, India's first big dream. When Abdul Kalam joined ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, he became part of a historic project, SLV, Satellite Launch Vehicle. The goal? To launch an Indian satellite into space using an Indian rocket. At that time, India had no experience, very little money, and few resources. Many foreign scientists laughed at India's dream. But Kalam and his team had something bigger: belief and courage. Kalam was chosen as the project director for the SLV mission. This was a huge responsibility. Imagine a man who once sold newspapers as a child. Now he was leading hundreds of scientists on one of the most important missions in Indian history. Building a rocket from scratch, Kalam and his team started building the rocket in Thumba, Kerala, and Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. They faced huge problems every day: shortage of equipment, outdated technology, no proper labs, lack of funding, no support from big countries. Once, when they didn't have a proper computer to test rocket engines, they wrote calculations by hand and checked every number manually. They built parts with old machines and used spare airplane parts for rocket bodywork. But still, they didn't stop. For years, Kalam worked 15 to 18 hours a day. He ate simple food, stayed humble, and kept encouraging his team like a true leader. He believed, you cannot fail unless you quit. The first launch. A painful failure. Finally, in 1979, the team was ready to launch India's first SLV rocket with a satellite. Millions of Indians were waiting. The nation had hope. Scientists watched with tears in their eyes. But the rocket failed. It crashed into the Bay of Bengal. The satellite never reached space. It was a moment of heartbreak. The media started blaming ISRO. People laughed at the scientists. They said, India will never build a rocket. Kalam was shocked, but he didn't hide. He stood strong and took full responsibility. But then something magical happened. The ISRO chairman, Dr. Satish Dhawan, called a press conference and said, "We failed today, but next time we will succeed, and Kalam will lead us again." This kind of leadership gave Kalam new strength. He went back to work, stronger than before. The second launch. A proud moment for India. In 1980, just 1 year later, the team tried again. This time, every detail was checked. Every part was tested. The whole nation waited. And then, on the 18th of July, 1980, the rocket flew perfectly into the sky. India's first satellite Rohini was successfully placed in space. India had entered the space age. People danced in the streets. The world was surprised. Kalam became a national hero overnight. But instead of celebrating, he said, "This success is not mine. It belongs to my team, my country, and the dream of every young Indian." The birth of India's missile program. After the success of SLV, the government gave Kalam a new mission: to build missiles that could protect India and make the country strong. Kalam became the head of the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. It included 5 missile projects. 1. Prithvi, surface-to-surface missile. 2. Agni, long-range missile. 3. Trishul, short-range air defense missile. 4. Akash, medium-range surface-to-air missile. Pyari, Nag, anti-tank missile. These missiles were made for defense, not war. Kalam always said, "We do not believe in war, but we must be ready to protect peace." Hard work, stress, and dedication. Building missiles was not easy. It took years of testing, many failures, and constant learning. The foreign countries refused to give technology to India. So Kalam and his team built everything from scratch. He often slept in labs, skipped holidays, and worked during festivals. He trained young scientists, motivated them, and kept saying, "Dream big, work hard, never give up." He didn't care about fame. He cared only about India's future. A new name, Missile Man of India. Because of Kalam's leadership, India successfully tested multiple missiles between 1983 and 1989. The world started calling him the Missile Man of India. But Kalam stayed humble. He didn't buy expensive clothes or houses. He continued living a simple life, reading books, writing poems, and guiding students. He said, "True success is when you inspire others to succeed." Part 4. The People's Scientist. From labs to the hearts of a nation. In Part 1, we saw Abdul Kalam's humble beginnings. In Part 2, we followed his early struggles and his work at ISRO. In Part 3, we witnessed the great achievements in India's space and missile programs. Now in Part 4, we'll explore how Abdul Kalam moved beyond science, how he became a symbol of hope, a national inspiration, and how he slowly entered the world of public service and national leadership. This is the part where science meets humanity. A leader who never forgot his roots. Even after becoming one of the most respected scientists in India, Kalam never behaved like a celebrity. He wore simple clothes, lived in a small room, and ate basic food. He still followed the values he learned in Ramaswaram: honesty, discipline, and humility. He didn't own a car, a television, or any luxury items. His happiness came from working, learning, and teaching. Young people across India started to look up to him, not because he was rich or powerful, but because he was real, kind, and deeply inspiring. Kalam the author, spreading knowledge. Kalam believed that knowledge should be shared, not kept locked in books. He started writing books based on his life and thoughts. His most famous book was Wings of Fire, his autobiography, where he shared his life story in simple and touching language. This book became a huge success. Students, teachers, scientists, and ordinary people loved it. It gave hope to every person who thought they were too poor or too weak to succeed. Other popular books he wrote: Ignited Minds, India 2020, My Journey, Turning Points. Each book had a clear message. You can change your life. You can change the country. All you need is a dream and the courage to work for it. A scientist who loved children. Kalam truly loved children. He believed that the future of India was not in politics, but in the hands of the young generation. He often visited schools and colleges. Instead of giving boring speeches, he would ask students, "What is your dream? What problem do you want to solve? How will you help your country?" He spent hours talking to students, answering their questions, and listening to their ideas. One little girl once asked, "Sir, what makes you happy?" He smiled and said, "When I see a child smile and dream big, I feel my work is worth it." He encouraged children to study science, love their country, and believe in themselves. Awards, honors, and national respect. Because of his great work, Kalam received many awards. Here are just a few. Padma Bhushan, 1981. Padma Vibhushan, 1990. Padma Bhushan, 1997, India's highest civilian award. These awards were given not just for his scientific work, but for his influence on society, his contribution to education, and his selfless service to the nation. But he never showed pride. When someone asked, "How do you feel after winning the Bharat Ratna?" He replied, "It's a reminder that I must continue working harder for my country." Entering public life. The call to lead. By the early 2000s, Kalam was not just a scientist. He had become a symbol of Indian youth. He was loved by people from every background, rich or poor, Hindu or Muslim, young or old. In 2002, something unexpected happened. Political leaders and common people both wanted Abdul Kalam to become the next president of India. Why? He had no political background. He was honest, neutral, and respected by all. He had spent his life in service, not in power. And so, without any political campaign, without asking for it, Abdul Kalam was nominated and elected as the 11th President of India. A different kind of president. On 25th July 2002, A.P.J. Abdul Kalam took oath as president. But he was not a regular president. He refused to live like a king. He kept his lifestyle simple. He opened Rashtrapati Bhavan, the president's official home, to students and school children. He would invite them inside, show them the gardens, and talk with them. He continued writing books, meeting scientists, and encouraging innovation. People called him the People's President. His vision for India. During his presidency, Kalam spoke often about his dream of making India a developed country by the year 2020. He focused on education for all, technology in villages, clean energy and healthcare, a strong, united India, pride in Indian identity. He gave lectures at universities, inspired bureaucrats, and made young people believe in the power of dreams. Even though his term as president was only 5 years, his impact was forever. Part 5. Life after the presidency. A teacher to the nation. He began a new chapter in life. As a teacher, a visionary, and a guide to the youth of the nation. Let's discover how Kalam's final years were filled with wisdom, travel, dreams, and deep love for India. Back to his first love. Teaching. When Dr. Kalam left Rashtrapati Bhavan, he didn't go into retirement. Instead, he went straight to where he always felt most connected, the classroom. He accepted positions as a visiting professor at several top institutions. Indian Institute of Management, IIM, at Shillong, Ahmedabad, and Indore Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology in Thiruvananthapuram Anna University, Chennai Banaras Hindu University, and many more. But he didn't just teach from books. He spoke about real life, about dreams, failure, hard work, and self-belief. He encouraged students to become job creators, not job seekers. His classes were filled with energy. No matter how big the crowd, he gave his full attention, smiling, listening, and answering every question. Students respected him, but more importantly, they loved him. Travel across India. The mission continues. After 2007, Kalam began to travel more than ever before. He visited villages and remote schools where no president had ever gone. He talked to farmers, young scientists, and NGO workers. He listened to their problems and gave ideas for small innovations. He motivated students in small towns and tribal areas. He believed every child, no matter how poor, had the right to dream big. Once, when a child in a small school asked, "Sir, can I also become like you?" Kalam replied, "Why not? I was just like you once. It is your turn now." This made millions of children feel seen, heard, and special. Writing until the very end. Dr. Kalam continued to write new books filled with ideas and dreams for the future of India. Some of these included Transcendence, My Spiritual Experiences with Pramukh Swamiji, You Are Born to Blossom, Indomitable Spirit, The Family and the Nation, with Dr. Acharya Mahapragya. In each book, he mixed science, values, and humanity. He wrote not to show how much he knew, but to light the fire of curiosity in others. Kalam once said, "Writing is my way of touching lives." His books are now read by millions across the world, and they continue to inspire people of all ages. Living a life of discipline and simplicity. Even in his final years, Kalam lived simply. He woke up at 4 a.m. He prayed, read, and meditated. He kept a strict routine. He never missed a meeting or class. He answered emails from students himself. He refused luxuries. His home was full of books, scientific models, pictures of students, and a veena, a musical instrument he loved to play. He remained active, sharp, and youthful in spirit till his last breath. Kalam's vision. What he wanted. India, to become Kalam, didn't just dream about the future. He built roadmaps for it. He presented clear ideas on how India could become a superpower, but not through war or money. Through education, science, clean energy, and unity. He believed in smart villages and urban development, women empowerment, eco-friendly technology, affordable healthcare for all, eradicating poverty with innovation. He often said, "A developed India is not a dream, it is a mission." Even though he was just one man, he tried to plant seeds of change wherever he went, meeting world leaders and spiritual thinkers. In his final years, Kalam was invited to speak around the world. He met scientists and scholars from NASA, MIT, and Oxford, world leaders, presidents, and business icons, saints, monks, and spiritual gurus. But Kalam remained calm and grounded. He listened more than he spoke. He often talked about how science and spirituality could live together. He believed, science explores the outside world. Spirituality explores the inner world. Together, they make us complete human beings. This thought made him unique. A man of wisdom, not just knowledge. Final moments. The end of a great journey. On 27th July 2015, Dr. Kalam was in Shillong, Meghalaya. He was invited to deliver a lecture at the Indian Institute of Management. As always, he was full of energy, smiling, carrying his presentation, ready to speak to young minds. He walked onto the stage, began his speech, and just minutes later, he collapsed. A heart attack ended his journey. He passed away doing what he loved most, teaching. The whole nation cried. From presidents to street vendors, from soldiers to schoolchildren, everyone mourned the loss of a true son of India. His body was flown to Rameswaram, where he was buried with full national honors. Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam did not just live a great life. He gave us a way to live. Part 6. What we can learn from Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. A legacy that lives forever. So far, we have explored his childhood, his education, his contributions to science, his years as president, and his deep love for teaching. Now, in this last chapter, let us sit down together, like students with a teacher, and ask ourselves, what can we learn from the life of Abdul Kalam? Let us reflect, grow, and promise to carry his message forward. 1. Dream with open eyes, Doctor. Kalam always said, "Dream is not what you see in sleep. Dream is something that does not let you sleep." He taught us that dreaming big is the first step to success. It does not matter where you are born, in a rich city or a small village. What matters is how big your dream is. He dreamed of flying, and even though he once failed to become a pilot, he went on to build missiles and satellites. Lesson: Your dreams must be bigger than your fears. Start small, but dream big. 2. Work hard, even when no one is watching. Dr. Kalam believed in hard work. He never wasted time. Whether he was a student, scientist, or president, he worked from early morning till late night. He used to say, "If you want to shine like the sun, first burn like the sun." He did not believe in shortcuts. He believed in discipline, focus, and never giving up, even when the situation was difficult. Lesson: success comes to those who work silently, without show-off, and let their results speak. 3. Keep learning until the last day. Even when Kalam was 83, he was still learning, reading, and teaching. He believed that learning is a lifelong process. He often told students, "Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge makes you great." He loved science, history, poetry, music, and spirituality. He never stopped learning new things. Lesson: the mind is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Keep learning, keep growing. 4. Speak less, speak kindly. Dr. Kalam was a man of few words. He listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, his words were gentle, simple, and wise. He never used difficult language to show his knowledge. Instead, he spoke like a friend, a guide, or an elder brother. He once said, "You cannot change your future, but you can change your habits, and surely your habits will change your future." Lesson: your words have power. Use them to inspire, not to hurt. 5. Love your nation, not just with words, but with actions. Kalam's love for India was not just in speeches. He served the country. He worked for the army, the poor, the students, and the farmers. He wanted to see India clean and green, full of knowledge, free from poverty, strong in science and values. He said, "Ask yourself, what can I give to my country?" He rejected offers from foreign countries because his heart belonged to India. Lesson: true patriotism is doing your duty, no matter how small it seems. 6. Stay humble, no matter how great you become. Dr. Kalam received the highest honors: Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Bharat Ratna. He was called the Missile Man and the People's President. But he always remained simple. He washed his own clothes. He never owned a television. He wrote his own emails. He never shouted or showed pride. Once, a guard asked him to remove his shoes at an event. Kalam quietly obeyed. Later, the same guard was shocked to know who he was. Lesson: greatness is not about ego. It's about character. 7. Balance science with humanity. Dr. Kalam was a scientist, but he also loved poetry, music, and prayer. He believed that faith and reason should walk together. He read the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, and the Quran. He respected all religions and cultures. He once wrote, "Science is a gift to humanity, but without humanity, it is dangerous." Lesson: be smart, but also be kind. Knowledge without values is incomplete. 8. Inspire the youth. Be a light in someone's life. Kalam saw hope in every child's eyes. He always made time for students, even when he was busy. He answered thousands of letters from children. Once, a girl asked him, "What is the best way to become successful?" He said, "Find your unique gift. Develop it with discipline. Share it with the world." He believed that every child had the power to change the future. Lesson: don't wait to become great. Help others grow. Share your knowledge. Be someone's inspiration. 9. Live with purpose. Not just to earn, but to serve. Kalam never worked just for money. He worked for a mission. He donated much of his salary to charities. He lived in a small house. He never tried to become rich or famous. He once said, "We have only one life. Make it meaningful." For him, life was about contribution, not consumption. Lesson: ask yourself, how can I make someone's life better today? 10. Leave behind a legacy, not just a name. Dr. Kalam left behind no personal wealth, but he left behind something far more powerful: a legacy. He left us dreams, books, values, a vision for India, a heart full of love. Even after death, his story lives in our hearts. He showed us that one person can make a big difference. Final words: carry his torch forward. Dear friend, we have now come to the end of Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam's inspiring life story. But this is not really the end, because his story continues inside you. Whenever you feel like giving up, remember Kalam. Whenever you think you are too small to make a change, remember Kalam. Whenever you wonder if one person can inspire millions, remember Kalam. Be like Kalam. Dream like Kalam. Live for others like Kalam. The best way to honor his life is not with words, but with action. So go out and study with passion, work with honesty, respect your parents and teachers, serve your country, smile at strangers, help the weak, and always dream big. Because one day someone might tell your story, just like we told his. If you felt something today, if even one sentence made you think, then give this video a like. And if you want to walk with us on this journey of learning and growing, press subscribe. Stories are waiting.